This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
And by that I mean they're physical, they're managing pucks, so they're on the forecheck a lot, solid defensively. And and they're different players and different skill sets, but they have the same understanding of what they need to do, if that makes any sense. So I haven't seen a whole lot. Nick's probably more of a puck possession guy because he's bigger and longer, so he can do that better than Teddy. But at the end of the day, Teddy finds a way to create his offense, and but most of all, check well. And they both, like I said, that's the understanding of what makes that line good. And to me, they're interchangeable.
NHL.com. Bruce, there's emotion in a series. There's certainly emotion after you win overtime games when you're up 2-0 in a series. What does experience do for you right now, and understand, and your guys, and understanding the situation, but also understanding, it's only halfway done?
Yeah, I think the previous series it was 1-1, and we had, I think in both those games against both Winnipeg and Edmonton, we had a poor game, and that's why it was 1-1. Yesterday, I didn't think we were on top of our game. The difference between yesterday and the losses we had earlier in the series against the other opponents is we were able to stick around for whatever reason. I think we recognized we weren't at our best, so let's not let it get too far away until we can get to our game, if we can ever get to our game, right? Sometimes you don't. I thought we did in the third. We did a good job starting to get through, and a little bit is that Dallas is probably not as aggressive. They're trying to protect the lead, and I think that's where our experience came in. All right, don't let it completely get away from you here. We're not at our best. I think we all acknowledge that and trying to, reinforce the positives, which weren't a lot, I guess, offensively the other day, and but how we can get to our game from previous games in this year's playoffs. I don't want to go too far back, 'cause it's a different group. But at the end of the day, now you're up 2-0, and it's still one game at a time. Our goal is to get 11 wins now, right, in the playoffs, and we're at 10. So let's focus on that. Going into Dallas, they got a really good home record. They're going to be, obviously, you're upset when you're that close and you don't win, so they're going to have a real sense of urgency going back there. So for us, it's one game at a time and get to our game in a hurry. I know it's cliche, but that's what it is this time of year. You got to get to your game and stay at it longer. So I think early in my career, I remember my first playoff series ever. I was in Washington, and we were up 2-0 against Tampa, and we lost the next 4. So for me, I know how quickly it can change, and I'm sure these guys in the room have been through some of those types of experiences. So for me, we've won nothing. We've got a 2-0 lead, but as you said, we're halfway there. That's it. So we know we have to be a lot better, because you need to get better throughout the series, or you don't advance. And I said we weren't on top of our game in Game 2, but we were good enough to find a way to win, and that's been our team this year a little bit. We've been, I think I've used the word imperfect a lot, because we are, but we find ways to stay in the game and win. And that's a credit to the guys, and that's what I think has made us who we are this year.
Hey Bruce, Gary Lawless, Vegas Golden Knights. What did they do in the neutral zone yesterday, and how do you counter it?
They were still in their 1-2-2 for the most part. They'll get aggressive going on D-to-Ds with certain guys, but at the end of the day, they just have numbers there. And if you have numbers and you're taking good angles and have good sticks, then you have to be pretty clean getting through there, and we weren't. I thought we slowed the game down, especially in the second period in there. The night before, we were quick. We were stretching them out, catching them in between, and we were able to attack. Whether it results in goals or not, it results in them having to break pucks out, and you wear them down. So I don't know if their game changed as much as maybe our lack of execution fed into their game. And some of that's a credit to them for being in the right spots and checking well. Some of it was on us. Like I said, I don't think, you look at the overtime goal, I know it's a simple play, but Naber is under pressure, but he moves the puck north, right? And now we got guys supporting the puck, and all of a sudden skating off the puck, and now we're attacking. I thought we did that very well Game 1, not so much in Game 2. But second periods, I've said all year, if you get on the wrong side of that momentum, it can be a 3-quarter ice game for you or against you, because you're constantly getting it out and changing, and it's a long change. So that's what I thought. We were on the wrong side of it in the second period, and it showed. We didn't generate much.
Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun. Before the playoffs, you mentioned that going on the road, the way that you guys played on the road this year, could definitely translate to the playoffs. And is the way that you guys have played as far as complete games on the road, I think probably with the exception of Game 3 in Winnipeg, is that even more confidence you guys can go up there and play a strong
Yeah, I
game?
think our guys feel good. We've played well on the road all year, and we kind of talked about that. I think it's because we use everybody. We're 4-line 6D. We're not chasing matchups. We're not worried about hiding anybody. So we just play. The guys know they're going over the boards. Experienced group in their room, knowing that it's going to be loud. All those things, you just got to play through it and use it to your advantage. Actually, in the playoffs, I mean, it was really loud in Winnipeg and Edmonton. I thought it helps us too, as well, if you think about it that way. So that's our mindset right now, and we got to be ready to counter aggression early, and usually that is by moving pucks and executing and being clean and supporting pucks, so that they don't have a chance to get those big hits on your D and play behind you the whole first period, so that the crowd gets into it. Like, put them on their heels a little bit is what we've tried to do. Didn't always work. The game, and it was at Game 4 in Edmonton. They were on top of us in a hurry. We didn't, and we were chasing the game the whole time. So that's what we got to be mindful of.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Bruce, I know you gave up one yesterday, but the penalty kill the last 6 games has looked significantly better. I mean, from the outside, from you, are you comfortable where it is right now? And
Yeah.
What do you feel about it?
I thought we were pretty good on it. I mean, I think that the first goal was a little bit of product, or their power play goal was, I mean, we had a clear opportunity and we went back with it, and that was our second period. We were not playing direct and getting pucks up ice. You want help on a clear sometimes when you're on your forehand. I think if we had to do it over again, we just pounded the puck out, they keep it in, all of a sudden it's in our net. So I think that's correctable. And I think we have corrected a lot of things along the way. We've been more aggressive when we need to be, appropriate pressure. And we weren't doing that as much early. Now, some of that's Edmonton, right? You're kind of, they move it so quick and they're so dynamic, but Dallas is a little more predictable in what they're going to do. We feel they're good at it. They still have a very good power play, but it's more to the net, outstick you at the net. So for us, we've tried to really keep one of our forwards, make sure they're recovering back to the net, so we're even in numbers there, and hopefully we rebound the puck. So it's worked out well for us for the most part. Like I said, they found a loose puck yesterday, buried it, and they're going to do that sometimes. So that's how we feel about our kill. It's a lot better than it was early in the playoffs.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com. Bruce, I think the Marchessault's goal yesterday, and we talk about their neutral zone, right, and how they're really good in it. But the forecheck that you guys had on that goal, it wasn't driving Suter into the boards, but it was Jack with the stick, Marchessault covering the wall. He's got to go the other way. Is that sort of a thing that you guys can always fall back on? Like, if they're clogging it up in the neutral zone, get it in, skate on a forecheck.
But we have to fall back on that. If we don't, it's what the second period looks like, and some of the first. So I think our guys understand that and got to it in the third, right? They didn't try to force a lot of plays. I mean, we got through there a couple times with some skill. I think Jack one time, but for the most part, you have to go around it and then create your turnover behind the goal line in those areas. And we've been good at that in this playoff. So I'm glad the guys recognized it in the third. We didn't stay stubborn for another 20 minutes. We pre-scout. We have a good idea how Dallas is going to break the puck out, so our guys stuck to their routes, and good for them. Now, they'll say, well, maybe there's miscommunication between Suter and Heiskanen on the first pass, but that's going to happen if you put teams under pressure enough times, and that's exactly what happened, and we're able to recover the puck. Now you got a chance to play with it. We happen to make a bang-bang play. That's just, a real elite mind in Jack and Marsh going to the right spot. So we scored quick, but other times you just got to get possession now and play in their zone, and that's when we're at our best. We play that way. Even though we're a good line rush team, we saw it on the winning goal. For the most part in this playoffs, we've been at our best when we've used 4 lines behind them, create your turnover. And as a coach, Dan, you're so happy to see a score a goal like that, because that's what you're kind of preaching, and when it works for you, it's easier to sell. It's harder work than probably scoring off the rush. But that's what's required.
2 more in front.
Alan Snell, LVSportsBiz.com. Hey, Bruce. I think in the Edmonton series, you expressed some of your most disappointment when I think was your term, the team didn't show the proper teammateness and competitive spirit.
I think I made up a word there, unfortunately, but you know where I was going with it, I think.
It was a good word. And I'm wondering, in Game 3, you have a team that's won 2 overtime wins. You're playing a team against their back is against the wall. What kind of proactive or preemptive kind of strategy do you use to make sure that the team will have that level of competitive spirit that obviously Dallas will have with their back against the wall?
Well, we'll talk about, as we said, we've won 2 games. That doesn't mean you win a series, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. I heard Marshy say it after the game, so right away the players are already talking about it. So they've been here. If you look at the Vegas Golden Knights history, I mean, they've been here and they didn't get through Dallas one year, and I think it was Montreal the other year. So they know it better than I do, what's required. So I don't know if I have to say much there. I certainly don't have to remind them. For us, it's about, okay, what did we do the other day that got us in trouble, and what did we do to get out of trouble and play better? So I'm looking at it, for me, more as X's and O's or adjustments or reiterating what we need to do well, more than about the emotion of the moment and all that. I think our guys understand that because they've lived it recently.
Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun. Brossoit or Thompson, are they traveling or no?
Brossoit, no. Thompson, no. I don't believe he's traveling. It'll be Patera would be our third goalie. Yep, thank you.
Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun. Mark, what have you learned the most about your line over the last couple of rounds? Obviously, coming back, you've obviously had chemistry with Chandler, and you played with Brett a little bit. Just watching those two throughout the playoffs, what have you learned most about them?
I mean, I like our depth as a team in general. So, usually the way we play, not only as a line but as a team, somebody's getting a pretty good matchup usually. So, sometimes that's us on nights, sometimes that's others on other nights. So, guys have stepped up at different times. Fortunately, our line's done it the last 2 overtime games. But I just like the way the team's playing. 4 lines deep, 6 D-men.
Right side and back. Ivan, tell us a little bit about the way Jack Eichel's playing and what you've learned about him since you got here.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing really well. I really enjoyed, playing with him since I got here. And, I think the one thing I was really impressed about him is his defensive play, because I've never seen him play quite a lot, to be honest. We would usually play just maybe twice a year against him, but just since I came here, just seeing him playing every game, it's been special. He's a big part of this team, and he's done a really good job defensively and offensively.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com. Mark, Bruce was just in here talking about the last 2 rounds. You guys were 1-1, and you lost one game probably because you didn't play near your best. And if Marchessault doesn't score yesterday, you're probably saying the same thing right now. Up 2-0 after that game, how does experience kind of play into your mindset and understanding where you guys are at right now, and also understanding how you got a win yesterday too?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we played maybe that up-tempo game we like to play. Maybe there's a little bit of frustration at times, but I didn't think we got overly frustrated throughout the game. They played a pretty perfect defensive style there in the third, but I think we started to push pretty well, and I kind of got them on their heels late in the third period, and we get the big goal, and that kind of carried a little bit of momentum into overtime. Thought we did a good job. Obviously, got a huge save from Aiden early in overtime, but we just found a way to stick with the program, and we got to do the same thing going into Dallas. We know that their crowd's going to be amped up. They're going to try and push the pace early, and we got to match that. If not, try and take it a little step further.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Mark, since Game 3 of the Edmonton series, the penalty kills looked significantly better. A lot of adjustments you guys made. I know you gave up one yesterday, but how much confidence do you guys feel in that unit right now, and how do you feel you guys are playing?
Yeah, I think a lot of our coaching staff has said the numbers probably don't look that great, but we had some big kills in the Edmonton series, especially against the best power play I think ever. That gave us momentum. So we've carried that into here, but it's only been 2 games, and I think discipline's been big for us all season. We're only killing 1 or 2 or 3. It's easier to be good on the kill. When you're giving up 5-6, that's when things starts to stress a little bit more. But definitely, the team's got a lot of confidence right now, killing off penalties.
Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun. Ivan, when you got here, obviously this team was a very good road team, and then that's translated well into the playoffs with the way that you guys have played on, not just more so that you're winning on the road, but it's more complete games. Is that kind of what Mark alluded to, the confidence that you guys also can go into Dallas knowing how well you played on the road?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I think every game we've been playing in playoffs, and I can see in the team that this team wants to win, and I think this is something really important for us. And especially, getting a 2-0 lead, in the series, and then going to Dallas. We all know it's going to be pretty tough to play there. It's a really good building to play at, and especially when one of the teams goes down 2-0 in a series, they will have to give you the best game they can. But I think it's going to be up to us to push back and find the game the way we want to play as early as possible.
Alan Sella of eSportsBiz.com. This is from Mark. You've been through 2 semifinals with the Dallas in the bubble and Montreal. I'm wondering, they both ended up with losses, and I'm just curious as captain, what is the message, what is the mindset that you want to create to push through this time so it doesn't repeat in the last couple of times?
I don't know. I don't know if my message is any different than anybody else. Since bubble we've added Stanley Cup champions. I mean, we had Ivan, who's been through it before. Petro, Marty's won cups. Quickie's won cups. Got a lot of guys that have won. Their experience has helped not just the team, but with some individuals. So I don't think there's just one guy that's sending the message. We've got a lot of guys in that room that know what it takes and know that this. Being up 2-0, this series is still far from over. Like Ivan said, they're going to probably bring their best game in Game 3. So if we don't do the same, we're not going to like the results. So obviously we're going to go over some things that we need to be better in and try and take our game to another level.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Mark, I know Jonathan doesn't do anything quietly, but Mark Sassel always, seems to score the loud goal and let everybody know about it. You guys just kind of expect it now in big moments when he's going to kind of rise up?
Well, I mean, he just scores. He's scored goals his whole life. He scores goals in practice. He just scores goals. So I don't know. It's just. I don't know if it matters when he scores them. Fortunately for us, he scored at the most opportune time over the last week or so. if you give him a chance, we like our chances that he's going to put it in the back of the net, and he's done that over the last couple of weeks.
Two more questions.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com. Does this team remind you of the 2019 Blues team at all, with the way you guys play, the size on the back end, bit of an unknown in net and finding ways?
Yeah, it does. To be honest, I was actually thinking about yesterday after the game. Like I see a lot of similar things. But I think first of all, it's this team wants to win, and every night we play, there's always somebody else who's going to step up. You've seen in this playoffs, like especially going into overtimes, you had Mario score a goal, then Howard, and then Stevie. It's always somebody else who's going to step up, and I think the way we've been playing, we're really trying to make it hard for the other team to play against us, and especially in our building. And this is something, I go back in 2019, and I'm kind of seeing the same thing.
Last question.
Steven Marsh, Ice Time Hockey West. Mark, as you mentioned, 2-0 series lead. Series is not over. You guys were down 2-0 in a series a couple of years ago and came back and beat the Colorado Avalanche. So how much can you lean on that experience being on this side of it to try to avoid it happening to you guys now as you're up 2-0 going into Dallas?
Yeah, I don't think we're really thinking about that. We're looking at Game 3 right now. We know we're going to be playing a desperate hockey team, so we got to match that desperation. Like I said, we got guys who've been through this before, guys who have won. Got to rely on that kind of leadership and stick to what we do best, what we know best. Try and get to our game as quickly as we can in Dallas to get things off on the right track.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
You've been watching Breaking News from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.